Hi. Today I'm going to show you a framework you probably heard about. It's called Wails, and it differs from the ones I talked about before in that it uses web technology. So you're using Go and bridge it to JavaScript, basically. Now, if you go to the homepage, you can see some beautiful examples of it. If it scrolls through here, yeah. And if you go to learn more and how does it work, you see here the structure. It's quite complicated, as you can see, right? You have the Go runtime, you have the JavaScript runtime, you have the JavaScript bindings to Go methods, and you translate between the two. It internally serves a web page, and you create a web page, and the front end is a web page running some JavaScript code, right? Now, if we go to the Go side here, you can see it's all quite straightforward. It's not complicated. You create an app, you give it some options and call Wails run. You bind here the app. That means that this app is now exposed to the JavaScript side and can send data to the JavaScript side and back and forth from JavaScript to Go and communicate with the front end this way. Right? Here, this is all quite straightforward. And if we go down here, actually, you, for instance, if you have assets like images, you will have to create a server for them, and they are then served, and you can use them from JavaScript in your web page, in your HTML, to show the image and so on. And this all of this will be packaged later into an application. Well, which platforms does it support? It only supports desktop platforms, which is kind of astonishing in my opinion, because you would expect a framework like that to support primarily mobile platforms, but no, right now Wails only supports the desktop platforms, so macOS, Linux and Windows, but I've heard they are working on a mobile port, at least for Android. Right, here's an example where you have a structure in Go, and then you have the corresponding structure as a class in JavaScript. You have, in TypeScript, sorry. You have export class, person, name string, blah, blah, blah. And you can then exchange person instances or records from JavaScript to Go and vice versa. Right. Now let me quickly show you where's this? Let me show you an example. Let's go to the pizza ordering example. We go here, you see the project structure. Now, Wails creates this for you, most of it. So it creates the project structure, of course, and you have here the main Go code, some configuration, and then the front end, your index.html, which is basically then a web page with lots of JavaScript and the bindings here. Okay. So how does this run? Well, it can be packaged, of course, but there's also a development framework. So if you call Wails dev, why does this not work? Wails dev, that's why. Okay, then it starts a server, and you can check your application, and it has hot reload, which is very good. Now, if you open the page, you go to the application page, which is for ordering pizza in this case. Now, this doesn't look very convincing, I guess, but that's only because they didn't polish the front end. Of course, you can use any kind of JavaScript framework and you can polish that and then it looks great. So their examples are not very compelling, I have to say, which is a bit of a drawback because this framework is, of course, extremely flexible and extremely powerful because you have the whole of the web technology at your hands. Now, let me summarize what is good about this and what is something I dislike about Wails. Now, personally, I don't like frameworks like Wails. There are a few others that are less established than Wails. So if you use one of them, I would use Wails. But I don't like these frameworks very much because they force you not to just use Go. You will have to use Go, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, possibly TypeScript if you want to. So you're basically developing in 4 languages And then you have to learn all the front-end frameworks if you don't know them yet. So if you're not familiar with this kind of technology, if you're not familiar with JavaScript front-end frameworks like Svelte or React, then it's going to be a high learning curve, because you have to learn, get back into JavaScript if you haven't been using it a lot. You have to learn the framework, and then you have to learn how the Wails bindings work to communicate with the Go layer. If you're familiar with this kind of web technology, and many people will be familiar with it, it's a great choice, because you can just choose the JavaScript framework that you like the most for front-end development. And there are great options out there. Many people recommend Svelte now as a lightweight framework, but there are many other options. And then you can create an application that has a very modern look and feel, and is going to be very compelling for most end users who are used to, web pages and mobile apps. So, in that sense, I would recommend Wails for desktop, and maybe in the future also for mobile, but I wouldn't count on that, because you never know how long this takes. Okay, that's it for today. Hope to see you next time, and have a nice day. Bye.